morning, everybody. Happy Friday Eve to you. I'm Rob Evans. Welcome to Daybreak. Plus, we're breaking down all the news you may have missed overnight, and then we're digging deep into the matters that matter to you. And we begin with, well, in about 90 minutes from right now, the Texas Education Agency will release accountability ratings for schools around the state. Now, we have waited literally years for this most recent data. The state delayed the ratings for the 2022-2023 school year, but now court ruled for them to be released. Now, the TEA accountability scores evaluate schools and districts based on students' standardized testing scores and college readiness. They get an A through an F rating. And if a school fails, the state can intervene. For example, Dobie Middle School in Austin ISD is at risk for a state takeover. The TEA has given Dobie an F rating for 4 years in a row. If they get a fifth failing grade, the TEA could take over management of the district, and we wait for the official scores. Right now, the district forced to consider 3 different options for the campus. Dobie can temporarily close and start over. It can relocate students to another school for next year, or partner with a TEA-approved charter school operator. In a letter last night, AISD superintendent did say that the TEA has given Dobie until June 30th to make a decision. And stay with us this morning. The scores can be released at 8:30. And we'll, of course, have an update for you on the data on KVUE News midday. And Liberty Hill ISD students are waking up, heading to crowded classrooms. Now district leaders are doing something about it. We told you a little bit about this on Daybreak yesterday or this week. The school board approving relocating 3 portable classrooms to Santa Rita Middle School. The campus opened 4 years ago, so it's pretty new, right? It was built to hold 1,200 students, but already it enrolls about 1,400. District leaders say the portables will cost more than $108,000, but they say it's worth it. Here's Interim Superintendent Travis Modal.
We feel like we have a responsibility to make sure our campuses are safe, make sure they're efficient, make sure our students have the best learning environment possible. Ultimately, deciding to use the funds to move the portables over, we felt like was the best option for Santa Rita Middle School.
Now, the district is expected to open up a new middle school next fall, so leaders say the portables should only last 1 school year. And once you graduate from there and from high school, they're in college, right? And once you graduate from college, well, you're facing a challenging job market right now, especially if you're hoping to land a government job. President Donald Trump has extended a federal hiring freeze that would have expired this month. KVUE's Isabella Basco says that students studying public affairs at UT's Austin's LBJ school say usually they have their eyes on a career in federal government, but with this freeze, well, the grads kind of have to readjust their plans. Take a listen.
Libby Morris is about to graduate with a master's from the LBJ School of Public Affairs with ambitions to work at the federal level. But now with a federal hiring freeze in effect, she's turning to a career in consulting.
It's really disheartening to see kind of the promise that a lot of my classmates have, and just really there are so fewer job opportunities for us. We're all going to feel this crunch come May 10th when we're all graduated and maybe only a quarter of us have jobs.
LBJ School of Public Affairs Dean J.R. DeShazo is seeing some of this uncertainty in Washington reflected in his students' stories.
We've had students who have been hired by the Treasury Department, the Department of Energy, the Department of Defense, and have been let go. And so there's a lot of churn right now that's happening. And for students focused on the federal government, some confusion.
Dean DeShazo estimates several dozen alumni have lost their jobs this year, forcing them to pivot. He says as the federal government pulls back spending, there's a shift in focus to different careers.
And so there are a lot of jobs at the local level and in local government.
For soon-to-be newly minted grads, Dean DeShazo offers some words of wisdom.
Be patient and be determined, and because the need for their service is not going to go away.
Words that students like Morris will take to heart.
We're going to be doing the work that helps, make change, and we can still do that despite all of these changes.
That was Isabella Basco. The LBJ school is also offering a career pivot program, which shows students different job opportunities at the city, county, and state levels, as well as nonprofits. Well, new developments in the Houston area is offering homebuyers a unique solution to the city's power grid problem. It's the first ever Tesla-powered neighborhood. The development features townhomes equipped with Tesla solar shingles, battery systems, so the homes actually maintain power during severe weather. These homes are going for about $500,000 each. And this weekend, Texans can save money on certain emergency items. Supplies like portable generators, fuel generators, containers, fire extinguishers, batteries, flashlights can all be bought tax-free. The sales tax holiday runs Saturday through Monday. And tomorrow is the start of the Georgetown Red Poppy Festival, a weekend full of music for art, shows, and, of course, the blooming red poppies, right? Brian and Yvonne will be in Georgetown tomorrow for Daybreak with a preview and exciting interviews. And after the show, you can get a chance to meet and greet the entire Daybreak team. You don't want to miss that. Speaking of the Daybreak team, 7:06, let's get a look at weather and traffic with Casey and Hannah. Casey, you going to be out there? Is this your first public appearance?
Oh, yeah. I got to see those poppies tomorrow. I've heard they are spectacular, so I'm very excited for that. You know what? Tomorrow, though, speaking of it, is going to be a little bit warmer. We're talking about 90-degree days, making a full-blown comeback here as we head into especially the weekend. And it's been pretty warm so far for this year when it comes to those 90-degree days. On average, in Austin, our first time that we see 90 for a high is around April 13th. Now, we are now at around that date, April 24th today, 12 days. We've had 12 days of these 90-degree highs already so far. Heading into the remainder of this week, notice those temperatures back on the rise. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, highs will be in the 90s, running a good solid 9 or 10 degrees above our average. Now, this morning, we're waking up to this very soupy start. Those winds out of the southeast pulling in that humid air. We've had some low clouds to start. Notice we're starting to see a few of these break apart as we get closer to now getting closer to the sunrise hours. 72 degrees right now in Austin, out at the airport, 72 for Camp Mabry. We are currently dry, though we have been tracking a little bit of shower activity that's been trying to get going here in southern Travis County. Notice it didn't last too long as it tried to work its way towards the I-35 corridor, but we could see a few more of those as we head through the remainder of this morning. Cloudy to start, clouds breaking apart, revealing sunshine by around 11 o'clock noon today. We'll be tracking some additional showers, possibly some storms by this afternoon. This model insisting on the fact that we could see some more widespread storms by 7, 8 o'clock. I think this is questionable, but not a bad idea to have the umbrella with you as we head into later today, as we still have this pretty active weather pattern around, but changes begin tomorrow. Your Friday, it's going to be a transition day from what's been kind of this wet weather pattern into a drier and warmer weather pattern. Could see some isolated showers still for your Friday. Many of us dry for tomorrow, and you'll see in your 70 forecast, we continue with the drier conditions just in time for the weekend. High temperatures today, back into middle 80s we go. Some of the warmest spots we found for those eastern zones, areas like the LaGrange at 86 degrees, 84 for Giddings, 86 for Bastrop, 85 degrees for your high temperature in Cameron. Our allergy count today, low for ash and grass, mulberry at medium, oak at low, mold still remaining medium, though I will say this is an improvement from what we had yesterday, and we do have alternaria in your mold count for today as well. Allergy forecast as we head into tomorrow, still expecting grass and trees to remain high. Mold likely going to be medium to high as we still have all this moisture in place from some of the recent rain and, of course, the higher humidity that we continue to feel. As we head into the next 7 days, those rain chances dwindling through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Weekend plans, I would say it would be a great weekend to be out by the pool, enjoying the sunshine because it is going to be warm, probably in the pool rather than out the pool with those highs at 92 degrees by Sunday afternoon. We'll continue with the 90s for your Monday and Tuesday, but I do think by next week, especially by around midweek, Wednesday or Thursday, a more active weather pattern does look to return with those rain chances making a comeback.
Thanks so much, Casey. I'm just so happy you're here. Everyone's got to give her a big Texas welcome because we sure are happy to have her part of our Daybreak team. She's a New Orleans native. She's coming in from Miami at her last station, so love to see it. Right now, we are taking a look right now coming in from Buda. We've got that slow crawl in the northbound lanes, looking good in the southbound lanes, and I know we have some rains moving across the area as well. Really quick, though, I wanted to give you an update on that very serious crash that happened yesterday in Georgetown that some of you may have been stuck in. Austin. I mean, I-35 southbound was closed for over 6 hours. And a reminder, it was an 18-wheeler plus 6 cars involved, those slick conditions out there. And the update here is that 3 people are in the hospital, 2 are in serious condition. But I'm very happy to hear that this was not a fatal incident, but just a reminder, just slow it down, and we got to ease into our commute here. Right now, taking a look at current conditions on I-35, we've got some stop and go once again, approaching that Slaughter area. There's that right lane that's blocked that's really slowing things down. And then we've had some broken down cars out there so far today, which never helps with that stretch through Bluff Springs. Also coming and going from North Austin, we now have 2 separate crashes on both sides of the highway. Neither is a full closure at all, so they both are passable, but just a little bit of congestion, this little sandwich here approaching the Palmer area, which, I mean, when is it ever looking good there, right? It's just always something. Taking a look across the rest of the area, though, some of our other crashes are clearing up pretty quickly, so that's good to see. But you know, as you saw there, a couple miles of that stop and go, and then a separate crash in South Austin. This is on William Cannon Drive at Bluff Drive, and this is not impacting travel on those I-35 main lanes. And I got to sneak in a little Bluebee picture for you because we're not done with April just yet, and I'm like holding on to it, my precious little bluebonnet season. And look at this dog; he's got like a built-in smile. I just love it. And these bluebonnets are hanging on for dear life because it's the end of the season. But this was sent in from Kenan Grissom. And this is sweet little Milo. Rob, back to you.
This is a sweet little smile right there. All right, Han, thank you very much. It is now 7:12, and it's a legal order for abusers to stay away. It's meant to help protect victims of stalking, domestic violence, sexual assault, and other crimes. We're talking about protective orders. But getting one from a court can be a complex process. Some say it's too complex. KVUE's Jessica Cha breaks down what it takes and the challenges people may face.
We started looking at this last September when we told you about a pregnant woman forced into labor after being assaulted by a man she says had been harassing her for months. And we want to warn you, the video of that assault may be hard to watch. Now the victim, Danielle McNelton, can only wonder if an easier path to a protective order would have prevented her assault.
Survivor, right, clever.
At 6 months old, Kendrick is Danielle McNelton's miracle.
Yeah.
Because he's been through more than most, even before he was born.
Yeah, I thought I lost my baby. I just knew it was over because he was hitting me in my stomach. He was kicking me everywhere.
As we showed you in September, Danielle was assaulted while 8 months pregnant with Kendrick. The suspect, her 53-year-old neighbor, AC Bouye.
As soon as I looked up over the hood part of my car, he was running full speed, screaming.
McNelton says she was beaten so badly, she went into labor a month early, giving birth to her son the next day. Bouye was arrested and charged with assault of a pregnant person. That was the first time Bouye allegedly assaulted Danielle, but she says her issues with him started months before. Last June, she says Bouye threatened her after she refused to give him a ride in her car.
You a lazy fat bee and this and that. He was like, I could just kill you. He said, I ought to go in my room and go get a gun and shoot you.
She says she feared for her life.
I just knew he was going to do something crazy. I just didn't know when.
And felt she needed a protective order.
I asked the detective, could I apply for a protective order? And he told me I had to go to the courthouse and fill out a paper.
Danielle says when she asked about the protective order process at the Travis County Courthouse, an employee told her it probably wouldn't be granted.
Well, when I was there and she discouraged me, I just left. Like, well, they ain't gonna do nothing about it.
Over the next few months, the incidents continued. She says Bouye would yell and pace at her door at odd hours and trespass on her balcony. Records show that the Austin police responded to at least 9 calls from her address between June and September. But it was only after she had been assaulted that Danielle was able to get a protective order.
I just felt like helpless and hopeless. I couldn't help myself.
Records from the Travis County Attorney's Office show 571 protective order applications were filed last year in both district and county courts. And of those, 422 were granted. That's about 74%. County Attorney Delia Garza says her office does its best to help.
Statistically, protective orders help.
In Travis County, there are several kinds of protective orders people can apply for: family violence, harassing and stalking, or sexual assault and human trafficking. To qualify for any of these, you need evidence of one thing.
The applicant has to show that an act of violence has occurred.
Garza says it helps to have documentation like police reports. But stalking and harassing protective orders have a high bar.
What we look for is kind of a log of the repeated acts of different kinds of stalking and harassment types of acts.
Without any type of physical contact, Garza says it can be harder to document. And it's a process that takes time, sometimes weeks.
They would fill out an application, they would talk to one of our counselors, they would fill out an affidavit, which is basically a narrative of the incident that occurred.
From there, a judge decides whether to grant the order. And Garza says while people like Danielle think the process should be easier to get one.
So you're ordering someone, you can't go here, you can't go there, you can't talk to that person, you can't possess a firearm. And so the threshold has to be pretty significant.
But Allison Kolb with the Safe Alliance says that threshold may be too high.
It absolutely should be easier to get because this is a safety issue and lives are at stake.
Kolb says stalking may not always seem threatening at first, but it can get dangerous.
Statistically, we know that stalkers are more likely to escalate to severe violence and to sexual violence.
And that behavior can be hard to track, which could be a reason why a protective order request gets denied. Kolb says that can be discouraging.
So if they have a negative experience reporting, even if it's to someone who means well but just doesn't understand, they are less likely to engage with law enforcement, with the legal system again. And
Kolb says changing the process could take legislative action, but it also could save lives.
it'll create peace and safety, and it will save lives. It will prevent fatalities.
Because not everyone may be so lucky to survive as Danielle.
I feel like if someone is stalking or harassing you, you should be able to get an immediate protective order because this could happen. Like, you could be attacked, you could be stabbed, you could be shot, you could be killed. Anything could happen to you.
If you or someone you know is the victim of family violence, sexual abuse, stalking, or harassing, contact police immediately by calling 911 or call advocacy groups like the Safe Alliance for help. Their hotline number is on your screen at 512-267-7233. Now, we have more details on the protective orders and how to make it as simple as possible with this story on KVUE.com. In the studio, Jessica Cha, KVUE News.
Jessica, thank you very much. Hard to believe it's so difficult sometimes to get that order. Also, energy rates are going down next month. A memo released this week shows the utility will decrease its power supply adjustment rate by 5% starting May 1st. Utility leaders say it'll save the average residential customer about $2 a month. They say they're lowering the rate because they're going to be paying less on the wholesale energy market from ERCOT. It's the fifth 5% decrease this year. Well, have you taken your allergy medicine lately? Allergy season is spiking across the country with some people saying their symptoms are worse than ever. Now, allergy sufferers are turning to home remedies. Have you heard about eating local honey? I've heard it. I didn't really believe it. So if you eat local honey, they say it will subdue your sniffles. Does that really help, though? Megan Bragg is here to verify.
Eating local honey has lots of benefits. It's a good source of antioxidants that can help soothe the sore throat and help with digestive issues. But will local honey cure your allergies? Let's verify. Our source is Dr. Alec Gupta, allergist from Atrium Health, Novant Health family nurse practitioner Patricia Williams, the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, and a study conducted by the University of Connecticut. First, let's take a look at how an allergen affects the body.
So our bodies respond to that by producing antibodies. Great source of protection for us. We want that, but sometimes those antibodies also produce or cause a chemical reaction that then cause those other reactions in our bodies that end up being allergies.
Some believe that because bees collect pollen to make honey, that pollen in the honey would help desensitize your body to those allergens.
The problem with honey specifically is that the pollen that the bees use is mainly coming from flowers, and the pollen that we're allergic to is typically not the flower pollen.
According to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, the pollens that affect people the most are trees, grasses, and weeds, which bees usually don't collect. Plus, once the honey is processed, you will not ingest enough to desensitize your immune system. A study conducted by the University of Connecticut gave a small group of people local honey for several days to see if their symptoms would resolve, and they found the honey did not eliminate allergies.
It's a great way to help us treat some of the symptoms, but I'm not sure it's going to really control your allergy symptoms as a whole.
So we can verify that no, local honey will not cure your allergies. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
A lot of people will be sad to hear about that, but okay. Hey, here's one last thing. Here's KVUE's Brian Mays and Yvonne Nava. Look at this.
Hi, Barbie.
Hey, Ken.
It's Barbie's world, and we're just living in it. The two visited the Malibu Barbie Cafe. It's off I-35 and 6th Street in downtown. It's easy to spot from the pink decor to the groovy roller rink. You can skate, you can snap endless photos and selfies. The food comes from a local food truck, Holy Cow, from their beach burger to cupcake boat and pink pancakes. It was enough to keep you full. The cafe is a nostalgic and a family-friendly spot. Here's a Sammy Lamb who's part of bringing the spot to town.
It's just a very fun, inclusive brand that just provides so much positivity and excitement.
Love it. The pop-up cafe is only in town, though, until mid-June. You got about a month and a half to go, so get on out there. Go to KVUE.com to get tickets. And skating is only $1. Part of the money goes to the American Red Cross. It is enough. That's it for Daybreak Plus. Let us know what you'd like to talk about. Message us at a 512-459-9442. You have to text it. Calling doesn't work. 512-459-9442. You can also message me on the socials at Rob Evans TV on Instagram, Facebook, or X. And stick around because Daybreak continues right here on KVUE Plus. Goodbye, everybody.